So it's like Ikea and Cricut had a baby. Okay, I'm sitting outside my Ikea. It has been like forever since I've been here. For the longest time, they just honestly didn't have all that much to look at. But I hear that's changed. So I'm really excited to go in and see kind of what new things they have. And I was also thinking that maybe we would do some DIYs with like our Cricut. So it's like Ikea and Cricut had a baby. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. Let's go. Keep saying that succulents are out of style, but I keep seeing them everywhere. You could do some pretty awesome things with that bench. Okay, I like that chair. Okay, here's something I've been looking for. This one is coming home with us. We're gonna make over this IKEA tray with just a simple decal. I decided just to use some sizer vinyl, just your everyday vinyl in teal to do this. And yes, I said decal, and yes, I know that in the States, you guys say decal. Trust me, up here in Canada, we say it decal. So yeah, I just cut it out, put on some sizer transfer tape, because that's my preference is the sizer, and then using my Cricut scraper just got that decal onto the tray really nice and flatly and in the center, and then just peeled it back, and there it is. I love this, and I'm going to be using it all the time. Let me know, what do you think? Okay, let's do a little more shopping at IKEA. I have this blanket. I love it. Okay, we are definitely going to need to take ourselves a few of these. This Cricut and Ikea DIY, you're going to need to get yourself some heat transfer vinyl in flat black. Okay, to make these pillows even more cost effective, I'm going to make them dual-sided. Each of the designs used in these Ikea and Cricut DIYs can be found on my website. The link to my free library is just below each of my videos. Now, just a few things to remember when you're working with heat transfer vinyl. Make sure that you warm up your fabric before you place your decal onto the material. Always follow the instructions, the manufacturer instructions, for the length of time and the heat that you want to be using when you're pressing down on your heat press. Oh, and always make sure you take your time. Cricut is not a DIY you want to rush through. Trust me, I've made that mistake before. Okay, so this is the other design that I went with. So we have two deer facing each other for one side, and then two fall messages for the other side. And make sure you measure to get things centered. Okay, here's a little tip. I always get things measured and then lose the spot. So take a little bit of tape it down onto your material so that you know where you want to heat that heat press up. And then when you put your decal down on top, you can then remove the tape before pressing down with your heat press. And there you have your dual-sided pillows. It'll be so much fun to mix and match, and really for $4 a cover and you get basically 4 pillows, that's a steal. I'm dying to know what you think. Okay, let's do a little bit more shopping. Whoa, that was quick. We're also going to need a few of these laundry baskets. For this super simple and super cute DIY, you are going to just need some basic everyday vinyl. I'm testing out the Make It Market vinyl a bit right now, but you can use whatever vinyl you prefer. And again, all of the designs can be found at Jenny's Place on my free printable library. But basically for this DIY, I used 3 different types of decals that I created on Canva, each of them having to do something to do with laundry. So once Cricut had done its job and cut everything out, I simply weeded it, applied the transfer tape over top, and then applied it to the front middle of each of the laundry baskets. Then I scraped it really well to make sure that it stuck really nicely, peeled back the vinyl, et voila. Don't you think these would make laundry just a little bit more fun? Oh, and I wanted to make sure that I grabbed a couple of these. Okay, for this super simple, super elegant DIY, you're just going to need some basic vinyl. I went with off-white because I was going for a very monochromatic look, but you can use any color that you want. If you want like more of a pop of color, definitely go with, whatever suits your style. I just created this simple leaf motif that I then put onto the transfer tape once the Cricut machine had cut them out, and then individually placed them around the candle holder. And then for the center part, because it looked a little bare to me, I added just 3 little pieces staggered equally around the rim. And there you have it. Tell me, do you like the monochromatic look, or would you have gone with something with a bit more color? And you're coming home with me? Hey, Ikea does have these cloches in black, but they didn't have this size, so I just gave it a quick spray paint with some matte spray paint. You're also going to just need your plain everyday vinyl, the same off-white one we just used in the last DIY, so you get to use it twice. And then again, all of these designs can be found at Jenny's Place printable library. They are all in PDF form because I'm still working on figuring out the whole SVG file transfer thing. But I believe that there's like places online that you can convert a PDF file to a SVG file, and then you just upload it onto your Cricut, make it transparent in the background, and then you can just use it from there. If I'm giving incorrect information, please just let me know in the comments below. And if you actually have any advice on the whole SVG thing, I'm all ears. Now, when you're taking the backing off, you want to make sure that you've really pressed that vinyl into the transfer tape, and you want to do it really slowly because they're quite delicate. Now, you're also going to want to grab yourself some wax paper. So here's a little tip. We're putting this on a glass surface that's not flat. So we want to arrange the decals before we adhere them. So if you put a piece of wax paper onto each of the transfer tapes with the decal on it, and then take a little piece of tape, you can arrange it on the cloche before you adhere it. So you know exactly where you want everything to go. And then you just simply peel off the wax paper, then stick the decal on and peel off the transfer tape very slowly because again they're very delicate. For the top flower, a good idea is to cut some slits in between the petals so that when you lay it down, because it's quite rounded at the top, everything will lay down flatly and your vinyl won't overlap. And here's the final look. Oh, and before we go, I'm gonna need to make sure that we grab ourselves at least one of these. Okay, for this super simple DIY, all you're gonna need is a giant IKEA bucket and some of that basic vinyl that we used before in the off-white color. And then we just let Cricut do its thing. I thought I would go really simple with this design. I have a huge garden for a city garden, and I constantly need a really large vessel to bring in the produce from the garden. And I thought that this one would work perfectly because it will be pretty enough to leave right by our back door, but practical enough to be able to be used in the garden. So I just take the decal and smooth it out with my Cricut press, et voila, there you go. I just think this bucket is so charming, and the color, I'm so here for it. Well, that's it for today's IKEA and Cricut Had a Baby DIYs. I hope you really enjoyed that. If you did, make sure that you subscribe. If you hit the notification bell, it'll tell you when I upload next. Give me a thumbs up. Oh, and you might enjoy these.